A sword goes through Bumblebee's chest. Scourge drops the body at Optimus Prime's feet, reaches down, and tears the Autobot badge off the corpse. He holds it up like a hunter holding a head. Here is the strange part. He didn't need it. The kill was already done. He took the badge anyway. Hold on to that image, because it is the whole case. The most brutal revenge in these films always comes wrapped in something extra. A trophy, a taunt, a public execution when a quiet one would do. That extra thing is the evidence, and every time you follow it, you find the same answer hiding underneath, an answer that is never the one the movie hands you first. Start with the one that looks like heroism. Megatron shoots Sentinel. Dark of the Moon, Chicago. The end of Dark of the Moon. Megatron has been beaten down, dragging himself through rubble. And then he does the unthinkable. He shoots Sentinel Prime in the back to save Optimus. For one moment, the audience is told a story about a monster finding a shred of decency at the end. That story is a lie. Watch what Megatron says. He offers Optimus a truce. He wants to broker peace, from a position of strength, as the one who ended the war. This was never mercy. Earlier that same film, Sentinel had humiliated him, taken command, reduced the great Megatron to a subordinate taking orders in his own war. Megatron did not kill Sentinel for Earth. He killed him for the demotion. He killed him because a legend had walked in and made him small. He didn't switch sides, he avenged his rank. Now back to the badge, because that case is stranger than it looks. Scourge and the badge. Rise of the Beasts. Scourge. In Rise of the Beasts, he is Unicron's herald, the blade that clears worlds before the god devours them. So the surface answer is simple. He kills because he serves. He took Bumblebee's insignia because he is cruel, and cruelty is what heralds do. But look closer at who Scourge is. He is a being with nothing of his own, no world, no name that matters, no worth except the worth Unicron assigns him. Every planet he ends is a line on a resume he can never finish, because his master's approval never actually arrives. The trophy was not cruelty, the trophy was proof. Proof that he mattered, that he was here, that a thing this powerful had passed through and left a mark. He looked at Optimus while he did it, because Optimus was the audience the moment required. Scourge did not hate Bumblebee. He barely registered him. Which raises the harder question. If revenge is really about the emptiness inside the killer, and not the victim at all, how far up the chain does that go? Because the next name on this list is not a monster. It is the greatest hero the Autobots ever had. Sentinel Prime betrays Earth. Dark of the Moon, Sentinel Prime. Before Optimus, he led them. He was the mind, the mentor, the one who taught the future Prime everything. The Autobots found his body on the moon and brought their own legend back from the dead. And their legend came back and shot Ironhide in the spine with a cosmic rust cannon and stood there, calm, while one of the oldest warriors in the war dissolved into flakes of metal on the ground. No speech, no hatred, 3 shots and a turned back. The coldness is the clue. A traitor who wanted power would gloat. Sentinel doesn't. He is not enjoying this, and he is not conflicted about it either. He is simply doing arithmetic. Here is the arithmetic. Sentinel never switched sides. He was always, only, on one side, and it was not the Autobots, and it was not the Decepticons. It was Cybertron, his dead world. He decided that bringing his home back to life justified any price, and he meant any. Ironhide was a price. Earth was a price. Optimus was a price he was willing to pay. He wasn't corrupted on that moon. He woke up exactly as principled as he had always been. The principle had just curdled into something that would burn a planet to save a memory. That is not evil. That is grief with a plan. And it keeps happening. Quintessa makes Nemesis Prime. The Last Night Quintessa. In The Last Night, she chains Optimus Prime in deep space and rebuilds his mind from the inside, turning the noblest character in the franchise into Nemesis Prime, a weapon aimed at his own friends. The surface reading is basic villainy. She has mind control powers, so she uses them. But look at what she chose to do with him. She could have killed Optimus 100 easier ways. She didn't want him dead. She blames him for the destruction of Cybertron, and a simple death would not answer that. So she did something crueler. She made him the murderer. She took the one being who defines himself by protecting others and forced him to become the threat, so that every good thing he ever stood for would be turned into a lie in his own hands. The cruelty was not a side effect. The cruelty was the entire point. She didn't want him gone. She wanted him guilty. By now the pattern should be making you uncomfortable, because the next name is the hero, and he has earned his place on this list twice. Optimus rips off the Fallen's face. Revenge of the Fallen. In a forest, Optimus Prime is killed. Megatron runs him through, but the order came from higher up, from the Fallen, the ancient Prime who wanted the last obstacle removed. Optimus dies in the dirt protecting a human. And then, through the Matrix and the sacrifice of Jetfire, he comes back, resurrected. And the first thing this reborn soldier does is fly across the world to find the being who called for his death. The final fight is not clean. Optimus does not simply defeat the Fallen, he tears his face apart with his bare hands. It is the most savage thing the character does in 6 films, and the movie frames it as triumph. But strip the music away and look at it plainly. This is a dead man avenging his own murder, and underneath that, an older debt still owed, because the Fallen betrayed the original Primes thousands of years ago, and Optimus is a Prime. He was collecting on a grudge that predates his own life. The hero is now on the list. That should bother you. Keep it in mind, because he isn't done. Optimus executes Sentinel. Dark of the Moon back to Sentinel, at the very end. After Ironhide, after the betrayal, after Chicago Falls, Optimus stands over his fallen mentor. Sentinel, wounded, tries to explain himself. He speaks about survival, about Cybertron, about the greater good, and Optimus executes him, not in the heat of battle, on the ground, deliberately. He tells him, "You didn't betray me, you betrayed yourself."
Betray me. You betrayed yourself.
That is not the line of a hero dispensing justice. That is the line of someone the wound made colder. The mentor's treason did not just defeat Optimus, it changed him, hardened him into a Prime who now finishes enemies personally and calls it necessity. The most principled character in these films kills like this more than once, and each time the film tells us it was righteous, which forces the real question of this entire case. If even Optimus does it, then what is revenge actually running on? What is the fuel underneath all of it? The oldest grudge in the franchise answers that, and it was there from the second film. The Fallen's war on Earth, Revenge of the Fallen, the Fallen. His entire war on Earth looks, on the surface, like appetite. He wants the sun harvester. He wants to drain a star for energon and feed a machine. Cosmic greed, nothing more. But that reading misses everything. Go back to who he was, one of the original 13 Primes. And when his brothers refused to let him destroy a life-bearing world, when they stood against him and sealed him away, they did not just stop a plan. They told him he was wrong. For thousands of years, sealed in the dark, that is the thing that festered. Not hunger, being overruled. His war on Earth was never about the sun. It was about returning to prove the brothers who denied him should have listened. The largest plot in the entire live-action franchise, the sun-killing, world-ending scheme, is at its core one estranged sibling who could not stand losing an argument. He didn't want the star. He wanted to be right. So line all 7 up. Megatron and his rank, Scourge and his badge, Sentinel and his world, Quintessa and her blame, Optimus and his murder, Optimus again and his mentor, the Fallen and his exile. 7 of the most brutal acts across 6 films, and not one of them, when you follow the evidence to the bottom, is actually about the victim. Every single one is about something the killer had already lost. A rank taken, a home destroyed, a place they mattered, a brother who said no. The revenge was never hatred. Hatred looks outward, at the enemy. Every one of these looks backward, at a wound. What we have been calling the most brutal revenge in Transformers is not cruelty at all. It is grief that finally found a weapon. That is why Optimus is on this list twice. The films are quietly making an argument most viewers never notice. Revenge here has no good side and no evil side. It only has a grieving side. Scourge took the badge because he had lost the right to ever wear one. The Fallen burned toward a star because he lost the only fight that ever mattered to him. Sentinel dissolved a war hero because he could not accept that his world was gone. They are not monsters getting even. They are mourners who never stopped, holding the last thing they had left, which was the damage. Go back and watch the opening again. Watch what Scourge does the instant after the kill. He doesn't look at Bumblebee's body. He looks up, at Optimus. It was never about the one he killed. The grief is right there on his face.